Auto Group with sports director Max Williams and weekend sports anchor Ray Robinson. Sponsored by Atson offers Velocity Power Sports, Palace Bingo, and Frost Bank. Crossroads Football Live starts now.
Welcome everybody to week 11 of Crossroads Football Live, and we have arrived to the last week of the regular season. Can't you believe it? Because after this, we only have one more show having our playoff episode, and that'll be it here for Crossroads Football Live before we keep it going you on our regular shows. But without further ado, let's tune in here, because at the end of the show, we're going to reveal all the playoff teams that are going to be announced for next week in the playoffs. So stay tuned for that. But first, let's look at our game of the week with the Bay City Blackcats heading in at 7-2, facing the Calhoun Sandcrabs after a big win last week, again after getting the fumble recovery from Glad Garcia for Sandcrabs, and to win that game 35-31 on the road. They're back home versus Bay City. Crucial one there for seeding. One of these teams looking to get the number 2 seed, one of them looking to get the number 3 seed. First, how about Bay City's defense? We talked about it. James Copeland, James O'Neill, those linebackers have been huge for the Blackcats this season. But then just like that, afterwards, how about a big-time play for the running game there as James Copeland rushed it, secures a first down there for Bay City on that play. But then a trick play there comes from Calhoun. It looked like they were turning to a punt, and instead it goes into trying to make a play into the end zone, but it turns out to be incomplete. There, it could have been for 6 at a crucial part in this game, but they could not capitalize. Then Bay City, Kamarian Wiggins kind of gets a big-time play, gets the offense going a little bit. This was a defensive battle in this game. Both offenses really couldn't get going. Again, Calhoun made a big defensive play on this one. Sternal tries to give it out, fakes a play, and tries to make it. But the problem is, with these defenses, it turned out to be a threat, and then Calhoun had to win it at the end of the game. It was a 7-6 win for Calhoun in this one. And so, with that victory, Calhoun now moves to 4-1 and second place there in district in that one. And as Bay City finishes up there in third place. And now, we're going to tell you later on how Lavernia and El Campo game did, because that will help out in that same type of way for the district between both of those teams. Now, as I mentioned, again, this was a big-time matchup on the defensive side. And after this defensive battle game, our 25 News Now weekend sports anchor Ray Robinson caught up with 2 of the star players there in this game for Calhoun about how they found a way to win this game at the end of the day.
Max, let's go ahead and wrap up the regular season with the bang, with the Calhoun and Bay City game concluding just a few minutes ago. And there's an old saying that goes that the game ain't officially over till the time hits 0-0. And I mean a low-scoring game for both teams. And the first score not even happening till the fourth quarter, but Calhoun did bounce back with a touchdown of their own in the final 7 seconds. And one of the guys that's responsible for it in his first touchdown, might I add, is junior Isaiah Morales. So before we talk about the play, how are you feeling, in a close game like this?
Anxious. This is a big win. We came into the game. It's a dogfight. Our defense, they really stepped up this game. Our offense, they were getting things done. It just came down to the execution at the end of the game, and it was just a big win for everybody. Our seniors, they all loved it. It's just a dogfight. Great game. Good team.
For sure. And with you being a junior, I mean, you got one more of these important nights left in you, and it's going to probably be against a team like Bay City. What was just a takeaway from tonight in the game like this? Because I think Bay City, in the years covering you guys' games against them, these games get very emotional and stuff like that. So, what is a takeaway from tonight that you're going to be prepared for come senior year for you next year?
We're not going to have a lot of our seniors, but, I mean, it just comes to us having hard work during the offseason, and I think we're going to be pretty good next year. It's just going to come down to dedication and getting the ball spread around more and our defense locking in and stuff like that. I think it's going to be a good year, and it's going to be a dogfight next year too. Same thing every year.
For sure. And speaking of dogfight, I mean, it was a dogfight deciding on that play if it was a touchdown or not. We had some lateral action, some questionable fumbles, but it ended with you in your first touchdown in your football career, man. So just walk me through that play. Was there nerves? Was there questioning on them telling you to continue to run?
I ran across the field because the way the play works. I run across the field, Isaiah catches it, and he tossed it to me, and I run it down the sideline. Isaiah had ran past me, and then I ended up dropping it because it was right there at the bottom, and we didn't hear no whistles, but everybody was just talking trash in the moment. It was scary. I thought I dropped it. I was like, dang, that's just the game right there. I just told all the seniors, and then I didn't hear no whistle. Somebody came running behind me. They were like, run, run, run. Ran down the field, and it was just exciting. Big win. It's a great thing. amazing.
For sure, and it's safe to say that you're the hero around in the city of Port Lavaca. And I mean, you got your friend here as emotional support. Just talk about, seeing your friend here make such an important play like that in a game like this.
Man, it was crazy. I looked up, I was like, dang, that's the game. And then what do you know? Isaiah Morales running down the field. And I mean, touchdown or not, we won the game. That's all that matters.
Absolutely, for sure, man. Best of luck to you guys. Thank y'all once again. Absolutely. My pleasure, my pleasure. Max, back to you.
All right, thanks, Clay. That was a wild game out there in this contest in 3 Division II, where the Tidehaven Tigers hung on their nail-biter to beat East Bernard there for the district title last year. So would it be the same this year again for Tidehaven in this matchup? Now at home this time versus East Bernard. Let's check out the highlights in this contest. And again, for Tidehaven heading into this game, this was a team that knew if they won this game, they could win the district title back-to-back years. If East Bernard wins, they will win the district title. It's plain and simple. Kale Russell starts it off though for Tidehaven. Nice pass to TJ Galvin for the touchdown. And again, Tidehaven's offense, what I've always noticed is they've been consistent with Kale Russell passing the football, and then their running game with Julian Stockton has gotten better over the week. This time, he goes deep pass to Bookie Galvin there for another one. This would quickly turn into 14-0 Tidehaven early in this game. But then, kind of how about the defense for Tidehaven making a play? That's Bryce Sleva. We saw him make some big-time plays in that state 7-on-7 way back in July. Well, he does it here again. Big-time play, getting himself right into the red zone. The Brahmas' only score of the half would actually be on this short pass there to get a touchdown, because then Russell would just keep finding his targets. How about this pass right there? Good little throw out to the corner of the end zone to Bookie Galvin for the touchdown. And Tidehaven, this would not even be close with the result, because Tidehaven win this one in easy fashion, 59-6. And for Tidehaven, they officially now have claimed back-to-back district titles. East Bernard will get there, the number 2 seed in that contest. Now, with Tidehaven winning the district, the Industrial Cobras already clinched a playoff spot a couple weeks back. They're looking to see if they can get the number 3 seed versus Wallace Brazos tonight. It was for senior night, and again for Industrial, got some big-time plays for this offense. Both of these teams have high explosive players. Wallace Brazos got a 4-star commit there at their quarterback position for the Cougars, and Industrial's got a good mix of running and passing game between both of these teams. And again, a mistake though here for Wallace, and again, it turns into a field position type of situation. Big one there, but luckily for the Cougars, they would get the ball back. And guess what? This is literally the next play after the most could have been crucial mistake, and then Wallace takes advantage and scores a touchdown right afterwards. And again, this is huge because this game was back and forth, but at the end of the day, the Brazos Cougars would win this one 35-27 versus Industrial, meaning the Industrial Cobras will still be in the playoffs, but they'll be at the number 4 spot going in 3A Division II. And stay with us here on Crossroads Football Live, as after the break we see how 2A Division II kind of shapes up in the district, and will Luis make the postseason? I'll tell you that coming up next on Crossroads Football Live.
This portion of Crossroads Football Live is brought to you by Victory Auto Group, where the customer always wins.
Crossroads Football Live, and I teased before the break about this crazy 2A Division II race happening. First, let's look at a top playoff team in the Shiner Comanches hosting the Yorktown Wildcats in this contest. And Yorktown heads into this game at 3-1 overall after their loss to Falls City last week, while Shiner is still undefeated in district at 4-0. And again, for the Comanches, they know if they win this game, they will win the district title outright. If Yorktown wins, there could be a little bit of chaos there in the district, but for Shiner, they didn't want to have any of that chaos, because how about the starter from Quincy Jones? Big time rush there for the touchdown, and the Comanches strike early here in this contest at home. Then right after this, after a fumble recovery, went this way. How about Jarvis Williams? Big time pass out there to his favorite target, Bo Bain, for the touchdown, and Shiner would get a quick time score right afterwards. Then Brody Betting, I mentioned he does it all there for the Wildcats, but unfortunately on this play, he actually fumbles the ball, and then Shiner would recover, and that would soon lead to a touchdown here on the same drive. Williams throws it out there to a favorite target and gets it into the end zone. And Shiner, this one, again, just like tied in the game, would not be close there with the score. 61-12, the Comanches there to win this one, and they would win back-to-back district titles there for the Shiner Comanches. And again, both of these teams still figuring out where they're going to be, because Yorktown falls all the way down to number 3 in the district there, because Falls City won the head-to-head. So Falls City's number 2, Yorktown is at number 3. Now, I mentioned there Falls City beating Pettis, meaning, let's quickly actually, before we get to Louise, we're going to check our CFL spotlight. We got Quincy Jones, had 7 carries tonight, 234 yards, and 4 touchdowns. What a night there for Quincy Jones. And again, you never know who's going to be big for that rushing game. Could be Jace Cadell as well there for Shiner. So props up to Quincy Jones getting our CFL spotlight. Now let's go over there to the Louise Horns, which again, if they won this game, they will be into the postseason. Well, guess what? They took care of business and knew they had to get the job done. They won 57-0 over Charlotte, meaning the Louise Hornets are into the postseason at the number 4 seed in 2A Division II. Now we go over to 3A Division I District 15, where the Goliad Tigers are trying to battle for the top seed with Edna at there in that district. And good little, not the start they want though, for, again, Goliad in this game. West Osto would strike off first and get the touchdown there for the Bears. But, again, for Goliad, we mentioned Lamont Franklin in the Build 4 Tough Player of the Week. He just gets a touchdown there right in that play. And Goliad would keep getting big-time plays afterwards, because the final score in this game between both of these teams was again, same result. We have a lot of blowouts here in this game, because this final score with Goliad winning 44-7 there in that contest, meaning there for the Goliad Tigers 45-7 their Goliad would win. So with that means there, they got to hope now that if Edna would lose, then Goliad will have the district title. But we go right over there to the Edna score, and again, for the Goliad fans, they would not be able to get it. 47-14, Edna wins, meaning after London beat Orange Grove last night in a thriller 38-35, Edna is going to be the district champs there. Goliad will finish at number 2. London is at number 3, and Orange Grove is at number 4 in that district. Now, Plashes unfortunately ends their season tonight, but that doesn't mean they're going to finish our last Band of the Week nominee. Again, the Mighty Shark Band is led by band director Harvey Davidson. Congrats to Plashes Shark Band for being our last Band of the Week. Now in 2A Division I, after Refugio Bobcats won the district title last week versus Skidmore, they traveled out to Three Rivers, and they're still building more confidence going in the playoffs, and they did, 63-13. They're going to wait to see who they play in the postseason next week. Now stay with us here on Crossroads Football Live, as we have 4 more important games to cover here before we reveal our Friday Night 5 and reveal who's going to be in the postseason. That's next on Crossroads Football Live.
We're the Shiner Comanche Cheerleaders, and you're watching Crossroads Football Live.
This portion of Crossroads Football Live is brought to you by Palace Bingo.
Crossroads Football Live. We still have 4 more important games to cover here in the Crossroads. We're going to go over to 4A Division 1, where the Cuero Gobblers look to lock up the number 2 seed in district there versus Robstown. Now, again, they would also have to watch out there if they had to get it from Sinton as well. But for Cuero, all they can control is try to get the win there at home here on senior night against a Robstown team that's kind of have lost the last 2 of late and hasn't really looked like themselves here going in there for the Robstown Cotton Pickers. But when we looked at there for Cuero, though, in this contest, how about Jackson Marie? Does a little toss out there to Walker Dietz, and he finds the end zone. And again, for Cuero, they strike early. This would actually be 14-0 there at this point in the game there for Cuero. And again, the Gobblers, what they do so well is their offense gets a lot of points, but can their defense hold up? It's always been the thing I've talked about with Cuero. On this play, though, it's just a nice throw there from Robstown. Big time throw into the end zone there for the Pickers. And again, this would be 14-6 at this moment. Then Cuero would respond right back. Camelo Perez there gets himself inside the red zone there for the Cuero Gobblers. And then the next play after that, how about a big boy touchdown here for Cuero on this play? Gets it in there. That's Blaine Zangler there. Number 50 gets it in there for Cuero. They're having a little bit of fun on the offensive side, and that would help out there for the Gobblers in this win. So let's get the final score in this one, 41-20. Cuero gets the win there over Robstown. Now, with Sinton beating Rockport Fulton, Sinton won 24-0. That means Cuero, Rockport Fulton, and Sinton all have a tie, just basically, again, a whole share of the district title there for all 3 teams. Again, they're still going to figure out who's going to be in what position later on down the road. Now Victoria West, and trying to see if they can lock up the number 3 seed in their district out there in 5A Division 2. They won over Veterans Memorial 13-7. Now, with Bernie beating Kerrville Tivy, that means West is going to be the number 3 seed. Tivy will be the number 4 seed there in district. Bernie is going to be the district champion. Alamo Heights is at the number 2 spot. We go back over to 4A Division 1, where earlier Bay City can beat Calhoun, meaning for Bay City fans, they needed Lavernia to lose to have a chance to win the district title outright. And again, El Campo, team that's lost 2 straight. They lost again back to Bay City 35-17, lost a heartbreaker there 35-31 to Calhoun. And again, how about this strike first though? How about Colt Reed finding out big time target there, and Andy Isabella getting in there to the end zone for the Ricebirds. And again, for El Campo, they kind of needed some big time explosive plays. They've been looking at in their passing game. We know they can run the football a lot there for El Campo, but could they get it going passing game? Good start out there from Colt Reed finding his favorite target on that play. But then a couple plays later, how about this? Kylan Taylor, he finds himself, gets himself inside the red zone. And again, for El Campo, they found a way to strike early there versus Lavernia. Got some big time plays, but at the end of the day, El Campo found a way to get big plays, but Lavernia found a way to prevail in the 4th quarter. They would win 25-21. So Lavernia is the district champions out there in the district. You have Bay City there at the number 2 spot. Calhoun is number 3, and then El Campo is at number 4. Yoakum trying to get there, the number 2 seed in the district out there, and they won 49-21 over Hallettsville. Hallettsville still in the postseason at the number 4 seed with a 1-3 record, but Yoakum takes number 2 after they beat Hitchcock last week. Stay with us here on Crossroads Football Live, as after the break, we'll look at 2 games in the private sector, and then we're going to reveal our last edition of my Friday Night 5 rankings. So stay right there.
This portion of Crossroads Football Live is brought to you by Frost Bank.
Football Live. And let's check out 2 quick games there in the private sector before we go to my Friday Night 5. First, let's go over there to St. Joseph High School. Again, this game trying to see for St. Joe. They wanted to try to get this game down to the wire. This final score in this contest was very close between both of these teams. Again, St. Joe would win this contest 41-35 there against San Antonio Christian. They're still figuring out who they're going to play in the postseason. A 41-35 win there for St. Joe. Again, like I mentioned, still figuring who they want to play there next week. Finally, Houtsville Sacred Heart traveled out to Conroe Covenant. This game still is actually going on right now. Sacred Heart there is still up 27-14 in this contest, so we'll see if they can keep getting the victory in this contest. Now, as we revealed there, we got all the games that we have mentioned. Now it's time to reveal our last edition of my Friday Night 5 rankings. And I just want to say it's been a pleasure doing these rankings each week. Now, we've had a lot of similar with a lot of these teams that I mentioned. So is that going to stay the same for my last edition? Well, let's find out right now. Let's start at the number 5 team. It is the Ganado Indians. They have kind of been on and off on my list here past couple weeks. For Ganado, they got a big-time win against Danbury there. I mentioned it in the 10 o'clock show, 60-0. And so they feel a lot of confidence going in for this team. And I think it's going to be the question is them and Refugio going in the postseason probably meeting up, because both of those teams talented rosters. I mean, you got Luke Burris on the team. Landon Arriaga has improved week by week. And Cade Nixon, again, is another guy that's been stepping up as well at the wide receiver running back position for this team. And Sean Willis, I also got to remember him. A freshman running back has taken a lot of load there for Logan Burris making plays. So for Ganado, they are at my number 5 team for my last rankings. Number 4, though, on the list is the Cuero Gobblers. And for Cuero, I think this team right now, it looked like for tonight's game against Robstown showed me a little bit of hope that their defense is getting better going to the postseason. Now, granted, Robstown's probably not the most explosive offense than a lot of teams they faced like Sinton there a couple weeks ago, but Cuero, to me, though, we know they got the offensive firepower, but if they want to make a deep postseason run starting next week, their defense has to help them out the rest of the way. So I think that's going to be the key, but for now, I think they're a talented team, and they're at my number 4 spot. At number 3 is the Refugio Bobcats, and this team, granted, their district has not been probably the best district overall to maybe some other teams that we've looked at, but they still just keep showing their dominance, and that's all they can really control. I mean, Ray Lewis is making plays against Xander Wills. The running back has been consistent as well, getting 3 or 4 touchdowns basically a game in their district. And for Refugio, I think this team right now, I'm going to call it, will beat Ganado right now in that game, but we will see going the rest of the way.